Hey folks, thought I would just bring you along for anyone that's never ever seen a meat grinder taken apart. So I got to clean it now that I've used it. Keep it nice and sanitary for next time. So one important factor that is worth noting, it is unplugged. It would be a poor idea to do this job with that plugged in. So this ring comes off and you can see there's a lot of meat and gunk that will pack up into there. So bring the garbage can over. This is just a little waste that you're always going to have. Can't get around it. And when you grind fat, so I ground up some of the fat from our most recent pig because Hampton Corner Grocery uses that in some of the recipes that they make for some of the ready-to-go meals for one of their customers, I don't know who. So they buy pork fat often. So now they're buying it from me. So there's the grinder, sorry, the plate. And you can get different size plates. I don't know if I have another one. Just give me 1 second. So, there you can see the difference in the hole sizes, right? So, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you can use different size plates. So, I like these bigger ones for making the sausage because I feel like the pieces of meat that come out of that are just, they kind of have a little more of a chew. That's just a preference thing. A lot of places, like I've researched a ton of sausage stuff over the last few months, and there's a lot of places that actually run it through the grinder multiple passes, and they'll run it through the smaller one because they're looking for like almost an emulsified, like a hot dog kind of consistency. That's just not what I want, and for now, this is what I'm using, the bigger plate. So there's that. Then this is a cutter head. So meat always kind of gets wrapped around that, and there'll be any kind of a little, if you get anything that's a little stringy, like sometimes in the fat, it'll kind of get caught around it. But that's just a cutter, and literally that runs, it runs right like this, so it's pushing it through and it's cutting at the same time. So that's how you get so you don't have one long tube of meat. Right, so it's every rotation, it's shoving through the holes and it's cutting. Okay, so that goes on like so. And then we have the actual auger that kind of forces it down through. So that's just a little bit of wasted fat. Basically, I just get as much of that off before I go rinsing it off in the sink. This comes out of there. So that auger is what forces the meat out through here. And then I'll just take, again, as much of this stuff as I can kind of get out while it's in here. The last of it will be gotten rid of when I clean it in the sink. That's one really nice thing about this butcher shop, is that they've got like a professional cleaning system with the proper chemicals and the hot water and the whole thing, so it makes cleaning this stuff so much nicer. Then I'm going to clean my hands. Then we're going to take this whole stuffing cone off. So this just kind of wiggles out. Gotta be careful because that will wiggle right along with us. So now take that out. That'll all be clean. And the last part is the actual tray. So this whole part of the machine is nothing more than a motor. So this never touches meat. So this is one I bought probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and last 2 years ago, my friend Chip and I rebuilt it. We just kind of went over it, checked a bunch of the mechanical side of it, but then we repainted. We took the emblems off, painted it, replaced some of the screws that were no good, and it just kind of makes it look a little nicer. So yeah, now I'm going to take this, and it's amazing what this hot water will actually get clear, but it will actually get a lot of this out. So I'll do a rinse in hot water first. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do too much of that because it's going to get all over the camera. And then once I'm done with the hot water, then I'm going to put on some of the degreaser. And then I'll go back to hot water, and then I'll go back to the sanitizer. And then it's all ready to go for the next time. So, thought some of you might find that interesting. I think the sentiment that I've heard from several people here since I've been kind of down at Hampton Corner Grocery is that people just are interested to see just some of the basic stuff that we're doing that they just didn't know. So in the background here is our sausages that I just made this afternoon, the honey garlics. And if you look, this is why they're hanging. See that little tiny droplet right there? And you'll see drops coming off of many of them. So that's just kind of when we make the sausage, there is liquid in there because we use it as to help us with the bind. But the other thing is, when we put the sausage on the table, I pour water on the table and on the sausages so that they move smoother. And if I just package those without doing the drying, then the casings would still be very kind of not slimy, but they would be very they wouldn't harden up, I guess. So by hanging them like that, then the air blowing over them is going to kind of dry the sausages off, and it's going to make it so that when you cook them, they have more of a snap, more of a bite into them. So that's why we're doing that. So I'll be packaging them up tomorrow around noon or so. By tomorrow afternoon, they'll be out on the shelves. And then when this batch of sausage is gone, you're going to have to wait a week or so before we have any more. So if you've been looking to try our sausage, tomorrow afternoon's the time. Plus, tomorrow afternoon I'll be starting to break down our beef. So there's going to be some of our grass-fed, grass-finished beef here as well. All right, folks, have a great night.